Do you not find it odd that the man who was executed in Missouri yesterday was in prison for unaliving a reporter who was at the time looking into the current governor of Missouri?
It's quite another sad moment day to, be sympathetic to people who you don't have any, personal relationship other than the fact that you're humans and they're humans, and unfortunately they're no longer on earth because of false accusation, which there were no strong evidence, to back it up, but they ended up losing their life. Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. My name is Princess Banigo, and on this channel we do everything commentary, conversational, and the likes. So we're talking about this man, Marcellus. Guys, like, I have been going through this story. I really didn't know much about the case until I started seeing video pop on my timeline, and I've been going through this story, and it has made me feel some type of way about the justice system, especially in America, where you feel like the justice system should be top notch, and you're seeing a case where they're saying they don't have, concrete evidence pointing that this man, did this, but still it gets unalived. Even when the family of the lady who was unalived was saying, they shouldn't go ahead with it, the prosecutors, and they still went ahead and unalived this man. It's quite sad. But let's get into this conversation already, guys. In the case of this man, Marcellus Williams, who was, unalived a few days ago for the crime of a young, beautiful woman who passed some years back. She was stabbed multiple times, and it was said he was the one that actually unalived him based on a confession of an inmate who was said to have been paid. Okay, can you imagine? And an ex-girlfriend who is known for lying. Anyway, guys, I don't want to delay you further. Let's go listen to what people think about all of this, and I will be back with my thoughts at the end.
The execution of a Muslim brother by the name of Marcellus Williams, rahimahullah ta'ala, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on him. Some of you may have followed the news of this brother who was on death row and who had all the evidence on his side. Even the prosecution, or rather the legal team of the family that have the murder victim amongst them, did not want this execution to proceed, but with the governor's order and then with the Supreme Court's failure to step in, the brother was executed at 6 o'clock today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on him and accept him as a shaheed. Allahumma ameen. I was speaking to one of the imams who was in touch with him in his last moments, and he told me he was reciting Surah Al-Baqarah. Some of you may have seen the last statement that he put, which was all praise is due to Allah in every situation. Alhamdulillah, ala kulli hal.
They did it. They did it. They executed Marcellus. They did it. They did it. And now I gotta go in here to work and I didn't even know this man, but it hurts to know that another black man was killed. Innocent black man was killed. This hurts.
Do you not find it odd that the man who was executed in Missouri yesterday was in prison for unaliving a reporter who was at the time looking into the current governor of Missouri, Michael Lynn Parson? Yeah, Michael Lynn Parson, the one person who could have easily saved the life of Marcellus Williams. Well, back in the day, it was alleged that he may have been selling bad gasoline that hurt a lot of people. That's how he got rich. And just so you know, Michael Lynn Parson is the same guy who pardoned Tweedledee and Tweedledumbass when they attempted to shoot protesters during the George Floyd protests. Emphasis on tried. I'm just pointing this out because it could be ascertained that the one person who had the most power in this situation is the one person who had the most to gain from both unalivings of Felicia Gale and Marcellus Williams. And one could ascertain that somebody should probably investigate that. Yeah.
There's an important lesson with this Marcellus Williams, or Brother Khalifa Williams, is teaching us. And you guys need to listen deeply to what I'm about to say. The lesson we can all take from this is that you will always be black. Now, I'm talking to my black people right here. Whether you're in Nigeria or you're in the West, you will always be black. You will always be black. Black meaning less human. You are the least category of human beings on this world. Your soul, your life means nothing. They will kill thousands of your children to produce one silicon chip on the latest iPhone, and they'll still make you buy that iPhone. We need to understand something, that whether you are the poorest of the poor or the richest of the rich, look at Diddy. Diddy is a rich black man, probably a billionaire. His money still can't save him. And they're putting him on suicide watch. You all know who else was on suicide watch? Epstein. But that aside, his money still couldn't save him. Okay? So no matter how rich you are, even if you make $1 billion, you are still not free. You will always be black. So to all the athletes that think that wealth, their status is going to save them, it's not saving you. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of timing before your turn of injustice comes. Because if all of us are not free, none of us are free. Let me repeat that again. If all of us are not free, none of us are free. You must always advocate for the freedom of black people against oppression. We must fight this thing and take it by the vice grip. We can't sit around and wait for a savior. There is no Messiah that is coming to save the black people, I'll tell you right now. So we have to fight by whatever means we can use to fight against these things that dehumanize us. Go look at Marcellus Williams. He was proven innocent. Even the prosecutor that said this man was guilty years ago came back and said, yo, there isn't evidence. He's not guilty. Free my dog. The prosecution said, free my dog. How innocent do you have to be for the prosecutor to say, free my dog? You guys have to really understand that there are bigger things at play here. And what happens to Marcellus Williams affects all black people. It's not just him. Because this is the truth about how they see us.
When I say this, take my words seriously. Marcellus was the price. And what I mean by this is what the governor and everybody else involved is about to reap through God's wrath isn't even imaginable. What's about to go down in these people's lives for what they have done is about to be complete insanity. But guess what? They've had this coming for a while. This is not the first time the governor has done something like this. God needed a price, an example for this governor because of what is about to happen. And hear me when I say, if it's not the governor himself, people around him are going to start dropping like flies. Chaos is going to break loose in his life. And God just needed him one more time to do something inhumane. God needed the governor one more time to have that power trip. So when he released his wrath, it was justified. I say this in Jesus' name. My God is the God of vengeance. May you reap what you sow.
Whoo! I can't catch my breath. I don't want to watch the clock, and I can't go home because I feel like I'm ricocheted with panic. So I'm just sitting in the car for hours at the grocery store right now. But I've been doing my own research. Look, put this together. Okay, when this story first happened, they said that the lady, Felicia Gale, was unalived inside of her home. No DNA was found under her nails. Keep that in mind. No DNA found under her nails. However, they did discover that there was a knife, which is a knife for the scene, and then a bloody shoe print. Now, they charged Mr. Marcellus 10 months after. Mr. Marcellus had recently got locked up due to something that was completely unrelated to whatever this, this crime is right here. They only charged Marcellus because there was an inmate in there who sat there and said that Marcellus admitted to him that he unalived Miss Felicia Gale. Listen, the inmate only said, I will only testify against Marcellus and get on the stand if you pay me. Followed by Marcellus' ex-girlfriend. Followed by his ex-girlfriend. They also stated that they know that this inmate is known to be a liar. Now, said that the ex-girlfriend got on the stand and her story was completely different from the inmate story, but they still pinned this on him. Follow me. Only a person that knows how to semi-clean a crime scene will sit there and say, let me scrape under your nails so that there's no DNA under there. I'm not saying it was a husband, but I'm saying it's not the husband. How? And they say that they found the purse or something of that nature. Well, I'm a woman and I know women get bitter and they get grimy, especially girls from St. Louis. They get real grimy and they don't play fair. Why you take the stand on this man and all of it was bought about a newspaper article and now you sitting here helping contribute to this man sitting there saying that? So did the ex-girlfriend put the purse in this man's car? Or was the ex-girlfriend playing with or did the governor? Because she worked for the police department as a reporter. So did these people, this was an inside job. I can't get no more out because, y'all, put it together. Do your research. Put this together.
Let me tell you something I learned. Marcellus Williams. When I was in law school, I was astounded when I learned how difficult it is to get a criminal case overturned. Because we watch the movies and you just think like, oh yeah, as long as, somebody else says they did it or whatever, you can just get your case overturned and you can move on. No. Now, I have to put a disclaimer. I'm not a criminal lawyer. I have never practiced criminal law. I only studied it in law school because it's a required course and you had to know it to pass the bar, but I'm not an expert. Criminal law varies by jurisdiction, but one of the things is that the way cases work is so you have the law and then you have the facts and you have procedure. As long as the law is followed and that law is constitutional, the facts are applied and the facts are presented that were available. Nothing was hidden and they follow the right procedure and there was enough basically evidence to convict you, your conviction is probably not going to get overturned. And remember now, before you get convicted, the state has the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, right? But when it comes to overturning a conviction, now the burden of proof kind of shifts because they no longer look at the facts. They start off with the assumption that everything was done correctly. So they start off with the assumption that it was an accurate conviction, and then you have to work backwards from that. So again, remember, you could have been convicted for example, for unaliving somebody, and then somebody else pops up and says, you know what, that conviction that this person was convicted for, I'm actually the one who did it. Here's the weapon that I used, and yeah, here's a picture of me doing it. And I used to think like, oh, that's obvious. That should be enough to get you off, right? Then I would read these cases, and remember, like, different jurisdictions have different laws, but then I would see these cases where they would have new evidence like pointing to someone else and confessing, and they would still uphold the previous conviction, and I was so confused. And they were like, well, and the reasoning was like, well, the law was correct, the facts at the time were correct, there was enough evidence to convict the person, so just because somebody else said they did it is not enough to set aside the conviction. And when I tell you, I was like, I'm like, that makes no sense to me. And so now, imagine now when you go to the state level, then now you have to appeal, right? So appealing on the facts. So that's why you talk all the time about people getting out of jail. Most of the time people get out of jail, they say they got out in a technicality. And that's because attorneys, we understand that usually means because something was done wrong. The law was applied wrong, or something was hidden that was available, or the procedure was wrong. But it's not usually, oh, we've looked at the facts and we've changed our mind. That rarely ever happens. It happens, but it rarely ever happens. And that's why once it goes to the Court of Appeals, they'll still uphold it. And then that's why if it goes to the Supreme Court, you have to understand the Supreme Court usually does not get involved unless they feel like there's a constitutional violation or there's a new a novel area of law, or like there's certain things in the Constitution that have to be at SCOTUS. But that's why I tell people you should never speak to cops by yourself, like say nothing. Because once you get into that system and then once you get convicted, good luck.
Marcellus Williams himself, which I believe I've sent to all of you. Let me know if you don't have it, and I'll make sure to give that to you. So I'll now read a brief chronology. At 4:50 p.m., the Department of Corrections received word that all petitions had been denied by the U.S. Supreme Court and that the department could begin with the execution sequence. At 5:40 p.m., the witnesses were moved into the viewing area. At 6 p.m., Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey notified the Department of Corrections that there were no legal impediments to the lawful execution of Marcellus Williams. At 6 p.m., Governor Mike Parsons' office was asked whether there is any reason that the lawful execution of Marcellus Williams for the murder of Felicia Gale should not proceed. The answer was to proceed. At 6:01 p.m., the order was given to proceed with the lawful execution. At 6:01 p.m., the lethal injection of pentobarbital was administered. At 6:03 p.m., the 5-minute timer was set. At 6:10 p.m., Marcellus Williams was pronounced dead. There's an area here on the grounds of Eastern Reception Diagnostic and Correctional Center for demonstrators. Today, there were 94 demonstrators opposed to capital punishment and this execution. Marcellus Williams was 55 years old. He was born December 30th, 1968 in Logansport, Indiana. Williams was 29 years old at the time of the 1998 murder of Felicia Gale in St. Louis County. He was received in the Department of Corrections on January 31st, 2000. And a few of the last things that happened today, his final visit with his imam, Jalahi Qasim, it took place from 11:01 a.m. to 12:32 p.m. His final meal was served at 10:53 p.m. It consisted of chicken wings and tater tots. There were 9 witnesses for the offender in attendance, including 3 members of the media. There were no witnesses here for the victims. And there were 3 witnesses for the offender in attendance. So I'll take a few questions if you have them.
I'm hopeful, but I don't believe or trust in the judicial system. But I'm hopeful that some good will come out of it one way or another. And I'll just leave it at that. I was like maybe a couple of hours away from being executed. I actually seen the execution team go into the little room, with their little materials. I had already came to grips with that.
It's quite sad listening to all of this, especially, knowing that it was said that, he kept pleading and saying and insisting that he was innocent. And then his last words, he was giving thanks to Allah, which is the way the Muslims say it. And it's quite sad that in America, things like this are going on. I mean, you would expect that the justice system in America won't be shady, that it would be very transparent. But I mean, why was this man unalived for a crime that he actually did not commit? According to the things I saw, as regards to the case, the footprints did not match. There were no scratches under the lady who passed nails. Other than the fact that they said, they found some of the items in his car, and I'm wondering how exactly did that happen. Anyway, guys, if you have more information on this story, please leave it in the comment section, and let's do it respectfully. Anyway, guys, it is what it is. People tried, their best, and I mean, it ended up this way. I saw a video of his son. What can they do at the end of the day? It is what it is. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.